thank you first of all very much for coming here tonight. This is the opening of our show for the Head-On Festival, part of the Head-On Festival, which is here in backstage with Daniel Schumann and Thomas Kellner. And we are very, very happy to have both artists here from Germany, though Thomas is leaving us already tomorrow. And Daniel has a few more days, and I'm glad the weather has turned, right? Otherwise, they just go back to Germany and say, God, it's been raining. We have here tonight speaking for you Moshe Rosenzweig and Dr. Arpad Stölder from the Goethe Institute, and both artists. And so that means you're going to get another invitation very shortly to Ingo Bracke with his Enchanted Forest, or the Magic Forest Enchanted Landscapes. So there is another opportunity for you to come next week. So I would like to ask Moshe Rosenzweig, the director of the Head-On Festival, just to say a few words. He is actually the one who turned up with Arpad, the director of the Goethe Institute, and said, Conny, could we do an exhibition during the Head-On Festival? I got to know those amazing artists in Germany, and that's where Moshe sort of sourced them. I don't know what occasion that was, but he knew them before me, and they suggested this project to do that at this time now, and there it is. It's become a reality, so fantastic. Thanks, Moshe, for coming, because I know you're very busy.
Hi, good evening. I've got not much to say, so I'll be very brief. I did meet the two guys actually in China, in a festival in China. Sorry. And we met, I think Daniel I met first time last year, and he actually made me cry with the project. Not this one, there's another project that, this one was emotional, but I could hold it with this one. There's another one coming up that is very powerful. And Thomas I met the year before already, so we're going back a long way. So there's a little bit of a community there. Alistair was there as well. There's quite a few people that go to China every year it's a small, well, it's a big festival in a small town in China. So there's a lot of stuff that happens there, and people meet together, and kind of there's good exchanges that happen there. Arpad I've known for a long time. He keeps talking to me in Hebrew.
And you speak to me in English. Every time I try to practice my Hebrew.
And we tried to do something the last couple of years and didn't work, because the way we operate, because we are an annual festival, we usually sort of pushing the deadlines quite a lot, and coming from the cultural heritage that Arpad comes from, they like long lead time. So nothing is done quickly, and But this time it works by miracle, because there was another show that didn't happen, another project that the Goethe Institute was working on and didn't happen, so we managed to get in, and it's fantastic. It's so good to see this work here. I'm really excited. So thanks to Conny for giving the space. Thanks to the Goethe Institute and Arpad for helping out with bringing the two fantastic artists, and thank you for coming.
Toda Hava.
Thanks, Moshe. I would like to invite Arpad, and there's a bit of a huge story between Arpad and me. Arpad has come to Sydney 3-4 years ago, right?
4 years, yeah.
4 years. And at the time when we met, that was when Klaus Krischock was on his way out after a long, long time in Australia. And Arpad's wife, Alex, and blessings to her and greetings to her, even though she's not present, she was highly pregnant, and it was the German Film Festival just when you arrived, and she was giving birth to an Aussie. And guess what? They are leaving in about 3-4 weeks to go to Stockholm for good. It's his last speech tonight. I'm a bit sort of touched. Oh, we really got to love each other. And his wife, again, has given birth to another Aussie a few days ago. So they will never forget Australia, you know what I mean, right?
2 kids here.
That's right, two Aussies, and that's really fantastic. And I also want to make a bit of promotion here.
Thank you.
The German Film Festival is starting next week, next Wednesday, I think. So if you're interested in some German film with subtitles, of course, there's a little brochure here for the festival. And at that stage, I also would like to thank the Consul General, Mr. Steinbach, who has given some of the wine here today as well. He couldn't be here. He couldn't be here because the CeBIT is going on, and the deputy, Anne Kirsten, she's in Germany. So
That's right.
They are shining with their absence, but the wine is here. It's your turn, Arthur.
So finish off the wine quickly so they can send some more. Well, you've mentioned that we true Germans in total synchronicity, the cultural programming, and the making of babies are all in tune. Timing is precise. We call it Vorsprung durch Technik. And as a matter of fact, I'm very grateful to my little daughters because they waited patiently. Their due date was 3 years ago, the opening night of the Audi Festival of German Films, and this time around it was the due date for the media launch. And Conny, Moshe, you know how busy we get during media launches and all the hype, the festival madness. Anita, Conny, Moshe, I'm so grateful to you guys. Total synchronicity also means, you know, there has to be some electricity, good vibes, otherwise these shows would never happen. We have a lot of red tape. We've got lots of bureaucracy, you mentioned that correctly. We're always trying to get rid of it, but we're sitting up to here in bureaucracy and still trying to swim around. But we make things happen, fortunately, and we've got two fantastic artists. I remember very clearly the day when, Moshe, you approached me and we were, you know, having another yearly planning session. What shall we do together? I like head-on. You know, I admire your work. And Anita and you're great movers and shakers. And you really rock this city with this huge festival of photography. And I'm grateful. Toda Rabba, you deserve a special round of applause. And during that planning, you discussed this artist, that artist, and you mentioned the tears that you shed. Art can bring about tears. It can hit you like a sledgehammer. That's what art maybe is supposed to do, to get you out of, you know, to broaden your horizon, to confront you, to inspire you, but also to shake you up, to open up your mind and to touch you somewhere that no one else has touched you before. And I'll start with Daniel Schumann's work. Where are you? There. You're from Düsseldorf, educated at Volkswagen Schule, highly decorated with grants, awards, lots of shows, highly acclaimed. And Daniel spent a year in a hospice. Everyone who has a family member knows what that means. It's the ultimate station. It is very unlikely once we enter a hospice we will ever make it out of it. It is like intensive care unit. You know, your chances are very slim. And once you've reached a certain age, chances are even slimmer. It has happened, but it's not very likely. And there's one thing we share, all of us, all humans do. We push it aside. We never talk about it. We never talk about the fears and what is coming next after that stage. It's a taboo, really. It's a taboo. It's death. We will all die. That is for certain. We don't know when, we don't know how, we don't know whether we'll be in total solitude or whether we'll be surrounded by loved ones. We don't know whether it's going to be painful, we don't know whether it's peaceful. We simply don't know what's next, and we don't know what will happen the moment after. This magnificent series that Daniel has made over a year, he has asked the people, you see, whether they would like to be photographed. And the series is called Purple, Gray, Black and Blue? No.
Almost. Purple, brown, gray, white, black.
You would have never imagined why he's come up with the colors. This lady over there with the purple jumper, she was changing jumpers during the time that Daniel approached her, and they started to talk and started to exchange views and talked about this and that, and he got to know her, and she changed jumpers, and they had certain colors, and her colors, the colors of the jumpers gave the series the title. I looked at these photos. Moshe showed me there you are now. How did you make it from here to there?
I was trying to escape.
פעם אחת פה, פעם אחת שם, מה אני הכי lucky?
Oh, wow.
You see, my Hebrew is not that bad, but still he continues to talk in English. I don't know what I can do, a Gentile offering free Hebrew classes to the world. And I remember very much when we talked about it, the sentiment of mortality and the feelings it evokes. I'm very grateful that artists like you, Daniel, bring the topic of our human mortality, because our time is finite, we all know that. But still we push it aside. It's a taboo. Have you been to a dinner discussion recently and people talked happily about their death? I have not. I have not. It needs artists to bring it to the table. I'll stop right there, but I'll finish what I have to say about Daniel's work with one quote. I wrote a little, I'm a German, I like to be prepared. I wrote down 4 pages. I'll put them back. But one quote I would like to add to this opening night is by Martin Heidegger, the German philosopher. And he said, death speaks to us in the mode of silence. And look at these images and you know what I'm talking about. Death can be also a relief. If you look at them, how peaceful they are. Maybe it's even something to look forward to. For Martin Heidegger, the quote in Being and Time, it was not something to be afraid of, but to deal with, to wrestle it down, the idea that our existence is finite. Thomas. He's from Siegen, also highly acclaimed, showered with exhibitions, awards, grants, and international recognition. We are very, very fortunate to have you two here, and I'm grateful you made it all the way to Australia. I'm very grateful that Goethe could support you. And Thomas is so busy that like 200 days in a year he's on a traveling show. This man is highly in demand, highly in demand. And what you see here tonight in this beautiful backstage Conny Dietzschold gallery are the wonders of the world. He's taken you on a worldwide tour. But, like a true good artist, he presents the things you seemingly know in a totally new way. His world is fractured. It's all about monuments. They're static. But he shakes them up. And you have to talk to Thomas and let him explain what his working method is. It's totally exciting. It's totally exciting. And you see places that we Germans are very familiar with, the Reichstag. I've been there, I'm from Berlin, but I've never seen it like this. Thank you for opening up my horizon. And this is Castle Neuschwanstein. This is Disneyland in Germany. Long before Disneyland was even invented. It's a bit older, that's right, it's a bit older. But it's like you've never seen it before. It's totally fractured and assembled, reassembled. I'll stop right here. I'm truly grateful. I'm grateful to you again. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the art. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Moshe, and thank you, Arpad, for your introduction. We would like to acknowledge also Alistair Foster. Alistair, who organized an artist talk last night, and each artist had 1 hour to talk about their work. So today I ask you to just talk 5 minutes about it. And I've already asked them, please prepare the essence of the bullet points that are really vital and important, so everyone really gets what's behind these works. Arpad already has touched upon something, but that is not all the works that, of course, Daniel has been doing. And you also may ask the question, why is it called Time Frame, and how come both artists work under the same title? Well, very easy to explain. The time frame here is that the China Wall or the Reichstag or the museum or the Eiffel, no, not the Eiffel, Tokyo Tower, Beijing Tower, Beijing Temple, they all have been newly created, and of course between that and new creation is a time frame, and Thomas will explain to you how he does it. And again here there is a time frame from until they have left their bodies. So again, a time frame. So we wanted to tackle that topic. So I would like to ask Daniel and Thomas to come up on stage so you can see them. Come with your lovely red shoes. And Thomas with his amazing Qantas kangaroo tie. Look at it. I mean, can you believe this? Yeah. A German artist in a suit and a tie. Wow. He's done that out of your respect. I'm sure it is. And I have to also say something. Thomas is amazing. The first day he arrived here, I said to him, what are you going to do tonight? He said, I'm a dancer. I'm going to dance. Every night he's going to dance salsa. You know, and yeah, that's what he does. He shakes those women around and is, you know, the man on the floor. And did you go dancing yesterday? No, you were talking here.
No, I'm not shooting this morning.
But you were thinking about to continue. Of course, you didn't. Okay.
I'm thinking of
so
tonight.
we've inspired him to do the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge. So that's hopefully the next project. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody
Daniel
for
Schumann.
coming.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm very happy that so many people came tonight to see our exhibition opening, and I'm proud to have the chance to exhibit in Sydney, so far away from home. Thank you for Conny to host this show. Thank you, Florian. And thank you, Moshe, to introduce us. Thank you to Alistair. And of course, thank you, Arpad, to also make this exhibition possible. Yeah, I am showing a project which is actually my first book that I published already a couple of years ago. I photographed the series in 2006, but it is a very important project for me. And so, because it's so important, I'm very happy to have the chance to show these pictures again. I would say it's really a milestone in my career as an artist, because it changed my whole way of thinking about photography, working as an artist. I did my civil service in a hospice in Germany, and I never really thought in the beginning that I would use this experience for being an artist. At first I just was forced to go there to do the civil service, but later on when I started studying photography, I felt like I really need to go back to this hospice to work on these experiences that I collected. And yeah, these experiences about dying and death really changed my way of thinking about life and thinking as an artist. So I asked the people in the hospice, can I come back and work here as a photographer instead of before as a nurse? So I fortunately got the opportunity and came back to photograph for 1 year to, yeah, on the one hand side, show my experiences that I had before from my civil service in pictures, but yeah, to also look at this topic of dying and death from a new point of view, from a more observing point of view, and to bring these experiences in a book and in exhibitions out into the world, and to tell about what Arpad already mentioned, that death can have something very peaceful, and of course at some point we all get to deal with this situation. So I photographed here on the very left Mr. Petersmann. He used to be a principal at a school in Germany. He was a very strict person, and when he was confronted with death, when he knew I will die soon, he completely changed. When I met him, he was very sick, and everybody knew he would die in a couple of months. He was suddenly a very soft person, very open, and he told me that he decided to participate in my project because he felt like that it is good that somebody who is young, who has not to deal with death, is coming to this hospice to look at how are people who are old, who are not attractive anymore, dealing with this really difficult, sad situation. And then there is Ulrike. She asked to be anonymous, so yeah, only the first name in this case. She used to be an artist, and she was a dance teacher, and then she got sick, suffered from ALS, which is a muscle weakness. So she was very unhappy, had a lot of struggle with her illness. So she told me one day that she was actually using my pictures to tell her children how she was feeling. So what it meant to her to be sick, to not be able anymore to move, to dance. And when you're looking in the book about this project that is lying back there, you can see that I photographed her over the period of 1 year, and I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to photograph her for such a long time, and that she has been so open to give so much to me and to my project. So I photographed this whole project over the period of 1 year. I met in total 9 people that I photographed. This guy here, the one in the middle, only for 1 week. I still had the chance that he told me a lot about his life, about his experiences. He was very much into carnival. He was a very lively person. He liked to flirt with women a lot, and he was happy that he was, on the day when he was born, the only man, while 11 other women were born in Cologne. So he was very proud about this. And during my project I got in touch with very interesting people with very individual stories of life, and of course all of these had very individual ways of dealing with this. Some died peaceful, others had really to fight, but I'm trying to tell with this whole project that it is possible to say goodbye in peace, in freedom. Not really, also freedom, but mostly peace. And I hope that this project helps, on the one hand side, the people I photograph, but also people who are looking at my pictures.
Thanks, Daniel. There are other projects that he did, and I think this may be something for the future, Daniel. He photographed in San Francisco gay couples, how they became families, adopted children, etc. So this would be, of course, a much lighter topic for Sydney. And I also at this stage would like to acknowledge Carla, who has come with Daniel. She is from San Francisco. This is where they met, and since then they're together. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you, Daniel. Over to Thomas.
I joined the row of thanks to Alistair, Anita, Moshe, Ava, Conny, and especially you two. I want to thank you for this wonderful event with a special edition.
Many thanks. Dankeschön.
So what to say? When I studied photography, I was also a painter. And I was longing for something to be different. I had one teacher in a sculpture and installation who explained me what art is. And he said, everything that you can see with your eyes has nothing to do with art. You have to create it. It has to be something new. So I looked at my camera and I thought, well, so everything that I see through my shutter is nothing new. It does exist already. So my solution was going into pinhole cameras, alternative processes, creating my own cameras, and I got completely intrigued with the possibility of multiple perspectives. The singular perspective, what we know as a central perspective, is an idea that is as old as Renaissance. Fine art has overcome that completely. We are today talking about completely abstract artworks, like Conny represents a lot of these artists who do concrete art with color only, with the material only. Photography is still stuck, in my opinion, in a central perspective. There's many artists who work on that, especially in the past few years. You find a lot of works that go in the direction of object and individual objects. I wanted to create something that was connected to the history in art, and my studies were in Cubism. And when I was invited to Paris, of course, I wanted to do something that was comparable to the Eiffel Towers of Robert Delaunay. I had no time to create my pinhole camera, and I thought, okay, I do a little sketch with a contact print. And this contact print turned out totally beautiful. I did a series, and it took 2 years to understand that I found a miracle. I found a wonder that does not happen so often. Photography is very limited in this viewer and what you can do and create. And I found something new no one had done before me, creating a whole series, an oeuvre, through the contact sheet, talking about movement within the image, close to Cubism. Some talk it's about deconstruction, others say it's reconstruction, some have called me a futurist or an expressionist. And since then, I'm working in a series about architecture and have these stable construction just shaking their bodies. Yeah? I have a lot of fun, the people have a lot of fun. And what you see here is a series that probably will take me a whole lifetime to photograph the wonders of the world. Whenever I have a chance, like coming to Sydney, with your help, Arpa, thank you very much, I can do another building. And this is usually it's once a year. The series is very, very slow, because I cannot afford so many travels as he said. It's very rare. Yes, I remember 2 years that I was so in demand, but other years, like the Neuschwanstein Castle, I could do only that travel 300 kilometers in Germany, not more, because there was no show, no money, nothing. I make my living on a print set. What you see here is a result of probably 10 years. A few of the examples in the series that I call Tango Metropolis. The most important pictures that I have taken in that row. I want to add one thank you, and then I'm finished. Thank you to Daniel for being a wonderful colleague in China and here together with me in this exhibition. Thank you very much.
Tell how you do this, because you cannot imagine this.
Yes.
This is not done digitally. When you hear 10 years, you must think, oh my God, 10 years, right? There's many artists among you here, what do you create in 10 years? So if that is 10 years work, what's the process? Because...
okay, I can say that.
Please.
I do.
Yes.
You want to know it again?
Yes.
Okay. The pictures, when you get close, you see these black grids. And some of you might be digital natives already, so you don't know that material anymore. It's a 35mm film.